regardless of who the opposition is resting or playing and whatever else is going on around the league as far as that goes, how important is it for y'all to be playing your very best basketball entering into this postseason?
I think it's the most important thing that, we can impact, at least to the extent that we can't will it to happen, or we can't pray for it to happen. Maybe we can will it to happen. With some of the things that we've been doing, I think that's a process too. It's something that we haven't started thinking about yesterday, but something we've thought about for some time now, and that's your hope.
Thanks. How much do you talk to the guys about wanting to get that 8th seed and getting the win tonight? Like, how much was that a focus, or was it more just, hey, we just got to do what we keep doing and keep getting better each game, each practice?
Yeah, I think the message from me and the message amongst our players has been more along the line of, what we just talked about. Let's, be playing as well as we can, be the best version of ourselves, and wherever the seeding falls. Some of that, obviously, at this point we can control. But that said, I don't know that it's the overarching focus. It's definitely woven in, there's no question about it.
And then just with Jalen Johnson, I know he's still young, but I mean, he plays with so much confidence. Like, what have you seen from him since you've gotten here, and kind of his progression even over the last month or so?
Yeah, I kind of laughed. I at one point I thought I was still young, and then I realized every player in the NBA is young. It's been fun to see him grow. I think there was that window when his hamstring was bothering him a little bit. And he did a really good job. He was professional in how he approached his rehabilitation and the way he kept working during that period. And I think it really put him in a good place when he came back, where he's been focused, and he's trying to do things that have been identified for him as the things that will really help him not only be successful individually, that our team needs. So whether that's him defending, defensive rebounding, pushing the ball and making plays in the open court, getting on the offensive glass, he's really embraced those things. So it's, from my standpoint, it's always good when you're able to kind of show a player, what you feel like is a path to success, and that they embrace it, and that's what he's done.
Coach, good to see you. I'm sure you've answered this 50 times, but for us, why did you take this job? A little unusual to take a job right in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Obviously, a talented young team, but the state of the state is in terms of why you took the job.
I can still remember the answer. I think, as you said, it wasn't something that was anticipated. I was hopeful that I was going to have an opportunity to coach in this league again next year. And when it did unfold, it became clear to me, I think first my discussion with Landry and also with Kyle, that they were two people that, I would enjoy working with. And then when I spoke to Tony Ressler about, more affirmation in things that he was talking about, his vision for the program, for the franchise. And then, as I learned more, you have a cursory knowledge of a roster and a team just from being in the league. But as I watched more and saw some of the players on the roster, and some of the younger guys, some of the older guys, it just was a group that I felt like could be fun to coach. And any coaching job in this league is a challenge. This is one that made a lot of sense for my family as well. I think the community here in Atlanta, the city, those things were all, real positives for me with, so it checked a lot of boxes. And as I said, I didn't anticipate it unfolding the way it did, but given the opportunity, when they asked me about coming in now as opposed to later, that was surprising to me, because it's unusual. But the more I thought about it, that made sense for a lot of reasons. And I feel good about that decision as well, particularly the way that the organization, the fans, everybody on the business side, and especially the coaching staff, because I've needed help, and I've gotten it on every level, which is great.
Quinn, you talked about being the best version of yourself as you end the regular season. What would you think is your biggest imprint on this team from the time that you've taken over to now as you close out the regular season?
I guess I wouldn't say it's my imprint as much, Brian. I think there's a few things that I think our guys have really, and especially, even recently, it takes some time when you're talking about certain things for them to absorb and for them to be embraced. And one of the biggest things from the very beginning was our spacing, and that as a bridge to allowing us the opportunity to connect more offensively and play through second actions, and the guys to have a chance to move the ball and make each other better on the offensive end. And then, defensively, that's been something that we've talked about and worked on. I'm not sure. I feel like we've made some progress there. There's always more you can do. But I think, transition defense is something that we were, porous, and a lot of teams are. That's why it's transition, and again, that's where the offense really impacts the defense. But I think our guys, as we've moved forward, even this morning, we had some breakdowns defensively that we were working on, some concepts that it's a little more than walking through a play or giving effort. There's some things there that hopefully, from a habit standpoint, that we can continue to improve on. It's a long answer, but it's the best one I got.
Thanks.
What's the latest on DeAndre, and what do you miss when he's not with you guys?
So what was the first part?
What's the latest on DeAndre's status?
I think he's warming up right about now, or soon to be, and we'll have an update for you after he gets off the court. And the second part was, what do we miss?
Yeah.
What is he? A lot. I think he impacts the game a lot of different ways. Just his range as a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, his ability to create, get to his mid range, those things offensively. I think he's another weapon out there for us on the floor. And then maybe as much as anything, being the guy that usually takes the toughest matchup on the wing. So his ability to guard the ball, and on an individual basis, sometimes out on the island, hopefully not too much of an island. But anytime you have a guy that's used to taking those matchups, different guys have to step up and feel that, and that's been good to see too. But obviously it'll be great when we get him back.
Quinn, the Hawks have won the glass now 7 straight. Anything you're seeing, right? Anything that you're seeing in that regard?
It's been a point of emphasis for us, particularly the offensive glass. I just feel like that's something that we've got a team that, there's some guys that, if they're clear on the fact that not only can they go to the glass, we want them to go to the glass. And then defensively, I think at the back end of your defense, closing possessions, if you're solid throughout a possession, you're in a better chance to defensive rebound, or better position to defensive rebound. So to the extent that that's reflective maybe of us executing on the defensive end, that's the byproduct of that, and I hope it's reflective of that.
Coach, with how things are going now, you really don't have a preference who to play, or I think with you guys clicking on all cylinders, you're ready for any challenge.
Well, I don't know if we're clicking on all cylinders, but I hope so.
It seems like.
So yeah, it's a little bit, even when we talk about where we get seated, some of those things are just, they're beyond your control. So whether we're at home or on the road, or we just want to be as good as we can be and playing for as long as we can, no matter who it is we're playing.
Go Hawks.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, y'all.